What's going on, Guardians? It's Tizzle here, and I am back with another solo Insight Terminus GM. This time I'm using Geomags. So Arc Surge was on while I was doing this because the node was available, so I waited until there was Arc Surge. We have Chaos Reach, obviously. I've done a full build breakdown of this exact build if you're interested in how all the synergy is working. But basically, we're taking advantage of the new Aspect Ionic Sentry and then Electrostatic Mine so that we can make a ton of traces. Then we have Spark of Ions. Defeating a jolted target or defeating a target with Bolt Charge creates a trace. So this is all about creating traces to get your super. Spark of Shock, your Arc Grenade jolts targets. So our Pulse Grenade will be applying Jolt, which will proc Electrostatic Mine, making a trace. Arc Weapon Final Blows have a chance to create an Ionic Trace. And then that also gives us Bolt Charge. And then finally, Spark of Beacons. This will cause blind, and if things are blinded, then that will also proc an Ionic Trace from Electrostatic Mind. Then I used Scatter Signal. I originally was using Tenacious Mastery and Indebted Kindness, but then I decided to just mix it up and use Scatter Signal, but realistically, you could use either. Indebted Kindness with Volt Shot is excellent because when we proc Volt Shot, we're going to apply Jolt, which will give us Ionic Traces. And then I actually used Thunderlord. I originally was using Queenbreaker, but I'll talk throughout the run, but I was running into a lot of teleporting ads. And so Thunderlord just really helps to take out ads that can TP on top of you, where Queenbreaker was definitely more beneficial for like damage on the boss and damage on champions. But what was really killing me was capping the plates because I was getting so many TPing ads. And then that also forced me to take off particle deconstruction, which made scatter signal a little worse. So in hindsight, I probably should have just ran double sidearm since I didn't have the fusion and Queenbreaker on. Arc Siphon, Ashes to Assets, Heavy Ammo Finder. Arc Loader is great for Indebted Kindness, but it's also nice on Thunderlord. But yeah, it just helps us proc Volt Charge quicker, Volt Shot. Firepower to make an orb for even more super energy. Some resistances. Arc Scavenger is obviously great for Indebted Kindness and Thunderlord. And then Special Finisher actually stacks with Dreadful Finisher. So we can get 2 special procs, which is really good because this is a double special loadout. Oh my gosh, VLC Media Player. Here, let's try to get rid of that tearing. So we've got Overclock and Load. This just gives us better handling and reload on our arc weapons, which is really nice. Deep Alchemy, doesn't really matter. Hold the line. While surrounded, machine guns and glaives gain increased reload speed and stability, and final blows heal you. So kind of good with Thunderlord. Defeating arc debuff targets grants Bolt Charge, so another way to get Bolt Charge. Elemental Siphon. This is going to make Ionic Traces even easier. And then I think you can even boost it, but I honestly don't know how the Tome of Want works or if that's what you even use. Anyways, I haven't messed with that, so I don't really know how to enhance the artifact perks, but it would make Elemental Siphon even better. Dreadful Finisher, I already mentioned. Flashover, you gain maximum bolt charge when you're amplified, and then lightning bolts deal more damage, so that's great, especially because Geomags can also top off your bolt charge, so that's nice. Heavy Ordnance Regeneration, so I actually replaced particle deconstruction with this one. Dealing sustained damage to targets with a heavy machine gun grants damage resistance and increases grenade and melee regen. So I did it for the better grenade and melee regen, and I took the hit on my scatter signal. And then finally, Limit Break, casting a super while critically wounded or having an elemental buff grants a period of increased damage. I don't know the percentage, but any super increase is going to be great with Geomags because the whole purpose of this build is to be spamming our super. So I'm just going to speed up this opening part. But yeah, you will see. Maybe let me know down in the comments how many supers I actually get. And I'm only casting my super at like the best times, but I even could have got more supers if I was just trying to like cast it pretty much as soon as I was getting it. But there you can see we have the Hypernova. We take it out quickly, get the Barrier Hob to Finisher, and then that should make special ammo there. I was able to pick it up. Don't know really where it went. And then, yeah, here you can just see we're going to just proc Volt Shot over and over, which look at all the traces and look at that super energy we get. It's absolutely crazy. So then here, again, we go in, it's jolted. So here we are missing particle deconstruction because, like I said, I was running Queenbreaker, but I made a switch. And like I said, realistically, I should have swapped back to Tenacious after I made that switch. Here, I'm being pretty aggressive, but it's okay. I've got recuperation on my boots, so when I pick up an orb, we're going to get a bit of health back. Very crucial on arc builds because you don't really have a way of proccing health restoration. There we use our first Chaos Reach, and then we cancel it early. By canceling it early, we're able to get a finisher, which is going to give us special ammo, but then that target is also jolted. So you can see we already have half our super because we got those ionic traces because we canceled our super early. And then there we get a whole bunch, and now we're almost back to full super again, just that quick. And boom, we have a super. So absolutely crazy. Again, that is why I wanted to get on to do this solo GM, just to show off how good it is with all these synergizing artifact perks and the buffs that it's gotten. So there, we use our anti-barrier sidearm to break the shield. We're going to take out a bunch more enemies, and then we're just going to skip the rest of the enemies because there's really no need to kill them. But yeah, once you break that shield, that's the other thing. I think it was jolted from my grenade earlier. No, sorry. I was going to say that is going to make you do more damage, but it's being amplified or being critically wounded will make your Geomags do more damage. Either way, I think we pretty much are always amplified or always have bolt charge. So I think we're getting like the max use out of that. Here, this guy is a little weird sometimes. So I actually get him to proc his like slam twice. We throw out our Ionic Sentry, which is going to blind, and then we just go in with Thunderlord. Unfortunately, that guy hopped right onto the plate, and then I think I have a War Beast on the plate. Yeah, I don't know. It seemed like there was more adds there than usual. Not sure what's up with that. So what I want to do here is delay. I don't know. Oh, I do know. It was Spark of Beacons. So when I killed with the, which was unfortunate because then that Unstop got stunned before I was ready. I was saving my Ionic Sentry, and then that would have stunned them both at once. But Spark of Beacons, any special or heavy, while amplified, a kill will blind everything. So when I killed that first War Beast with Indebted Kindness, that's why that first Unstop stunned. Regardless, you could see we were able to take out both Unstops in one stun, which is awesome. Had a little bit of trouble capping the plate, so that's why we got that second enemy spawn. Here, there's always a load screen, but if you don't jump and hit the ground quick enough, you can keep your speed boost up. Obviously, I had it amplified anyways, but if you were just had speed boost and you didn't have amplified anymore, then that's what you do there, just don't jump. So then we throw out our blinding Ionic Sentry. It's doing a bunch of ticking on all the enemies. They all kind of congregate in the middle, which was unfortunate. So anyways, I have a super to get through that. But yeah, I was trying to break the barrier champ's shield, but all the enemies were kind of taking its aggro, or taking my shot's aggro. So I couldn't really get my shot through because these are projectiles as well. So they're a little harder to be accurate with. They will like collide with walls in front of you at times and stuff. So there you could see we made an Ionic Trace. So we're almost back to, we're probably like 40% super right now. Here I'm missing shots like crazy. And then there, big chunk of Ionic Traces. And then that one trace, it does make its way back to me. And yeah, now you can see we almost have a super again, which is awesome. So yeah, this build is really about just spamming your abilities because Ionic Traces are like the goated elemental pickup. They're so good for getting, whatchamacallit, abilities back. And then with Geomags, they're even better because they're giving you all these supers. There, again, we pop a super. We have all these Ionic Traces. There, a Volt Shot kill. And just like that, we're back up to like 70%. There, I could have got another Arc kill. And could have got even more super energy. Here, we're going to whittle this Unstop down. Unfortunately, Thunderlord doesn't have quite the stopping power to get it in one stun. But we still take it down, we get the finisher, so we're getting special ammo. So that's where Queenbreaker is a little better. Unfortunately, Unstoppable Fusion doesn't work on Queenbreaker, so you do have to cycle between the 3-round burst and the single shot if you want to use it for unstop, because the single shot will blind. Very annoying. I just hate how Bungie's so inconsistent with it. I don't care what way they go with it, but like, why can Darcy jolt and work with anti-barrier? But so it could deal with like overloads and obviously barrier champs this season. But then whatchamacallit, Queenbreaker can't. It can't use unstop, even though blind is also just stunning unstops. So it still only has utility for one champion, even if you give it unstoppable fusion. So just a little rant. But anyways, we take out those enemies. We have our super again. We're going to run back to mid. There's some enemies that spawn out this left door here, and I have stopped and stayed for them, but you kind of get overwhelmed by all of these enemies. So it's best to just come back to here, take on these enemies, and even there, I'm taking some heat. We've got Volt Shot, and then we throw out our Pulse Grenade, and they do huge damage. So there, I'm trying to stun the unstop, but again, with a fusion, it's not the most consistent thing in the world to do. So I don't think I was able to hit it from here, but it's not a big deal. That was really stupid, throwing out my sentry. I could have just used my sentry to stun the unstop, but yeah, just kind of a bad play there because I had already stunned it with the fusion rifle. But yeah, here you can see we're just getting so much jolt off on this barrier Colossus. Use our grenade, and then here again is where I'm missing particle. I went in to get a finisher, but my bolt charge procced from my pulse grenade. But it's all good. We can do a finisher on this guy, get a bit of special. We've got special kicking around all around here. More ads spawn in. I think that's because I took a little too long to take out the enemies, I think. Or maybe that's just a spawn. I honestly can't really remember. But either way, that means we've got more ads to deal with. I'm low-ish on special, so I'm just going to use some heavy and just take out a bunch of the enemies. The barrier Colossus, when they're wound up like that with their machine gun, are super dangerous. And then, yeah, we've got these assholes to my right, which is super annoying. So, yeah, that was not textbook. I was a little scrambly there because enemies... I wanted to focus the barrier, but I had those enemies on my right. So I've talked a lot in the past about ad priority. The red bars are what's going to kill you there. I don't have to focus. So I could have taken out all those red bars and then just focus on the barrier champ. But it is what it is. We did what we did. And now we're going to get him to put up his shield, hopefully. Maybe he stepped out of my pulse grenade. Either way. Now we get some damage in on him. Use Thunderlord. You can see my super. That's the other thing. Thunderlord, when you're going in with it, also gives a huge amount of super energy. So not only are we getting so much super energy from all our traces, we're making orbs, but also just Thunderlord is really, really good at dealing damage. Like, it deals high damage at a high rate of fire, which gives you really, really fast supers. So that is another reason why, like, Thunderlord is just a great pick for so much different content. There we were able to get the barrier shield broken, and then we're just going to use a super because why not? We're going to get it back before boss room, and then we do a finisher to get special ammo, and then we run around, pick up... I also have lead from gold, so I'm very lucky. So when I picked up that heavy brick, I also got special for my indebted kindness. We're just going to go in with our Thunderlord a little bit, look at all those traces, look at all the... Boom. Super. Just like that. Look, I'm at... Where am I at? Less than half when we start here. And I'm walking out of there with my super. So that is just incredible. Like, incredibly strong how often you can get your super if you build into your Geomags build properly. And let me tell you, as a Geomags aficionado, I have played with every iteration of this exotic. And this is definitely the best it's ever been. So yesterday I had a Crown of Tempest run with Prismatic, and I've talked in the past about how Prismatic is a little bit harmful to the game because it's just clearly by far and away the best pick, but the changes they've made to like Arc Titan and Arc Warlock honestly bring them up to being very, very viable. Again, if you build around it properly, which I like to think I have with this build. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is my Crown of Tempest build did this in 18 minutes, and this one was only about 30 seconds slower on this run. Obviously, the loadouts are different, so it's not a one-to-one comparison, but we don't have Radiant, we don't have Weaken, we don't have so many of the things, we don't have Devour, like we don't have so many of the things that make Prismatic Warlock great, and even on Arc, we're able to get a sub-20 solo GM clear, which is crazy. So here's the hardest part of this GM, is capping the plates. And so look at the damage, 13,000. Like, oh my god. And that's without any weaken. If I had a weaken there, holy cow. Just crazy. But yeah, capping the plates is the toughest. So like I said, I was getting some TPing ads. In my Crown of Tempest build, I used a glaive, plus I had Devour. So it's much easier to stand in there and cap a plate. I also talked in that video yesterday about this is the spot where you want to stand, especially on Warlock, because you can have a healing rift. So I was able to put in some pretty good damage there. So that's where I should have been standing with my Crown of Tempest Warlock and using Darcy. Because yeah, you can kind of head glitch the boss a little bit in that spot. But anyways, with the machine gun, I decided to just kind of roam around. The machine gun, you don't have to be as accurate, obviously, as a sniper rifle. And then look at all those ionic traces. Getting us our super back, just exceptionally awesome. So what I want to do is whittle down... I'm missing a ton of rocket sidearm shots. I want to whittle down some of these ads so that when I go to cap the plate, I'm not getting like pushed immediately. So we chucked out that pulse grenade, and hopefully we're going to push the boss here. And then, yeah, those hypernovas, they have a lot of health, so you got to deal with them immediately. It was jolted, and that jolt was just enough to push the boss, and then we're already on this plate, and we just cleared the enemies on the field. So that's really, really good. We're basically going to get a free plate cap, so then we can save our super for, like, the next plate. So I throw out that sentry in front of me so that it will hopefully blind the enemies that are coming in. And then, yeah, you can see... Thunderlord was putting in some work, but I didn't put a rift down, and that was my fault. If I had put a rift down, I'm able to probably stand in there and get it. And then there, the Legionary moves on top of me. Luckily, I'm amplified, so the enemies are less accurate, and I have damage resistance. But yeah, that definitely got a little hairy. Like I said, this is the toughest part of the strike, is capping these plates. So now I'm trying to get a bit of ammo, and like I said, I don't have a glaive either to stand in there. But yeah, what I should have done was put down a rift. So we're gonna blind those gladiators, and then hopefully take out some of these enemies. I'm getting all my my ammo, just kind of cleaning up the room. And now you can see we already have a super back. So I want to get on the plate. No, I guess not. I'm still just taking my time. Like I said, you do kind of have to pick your spots with this. So we get the rift down, which is huge, and then we get the blinding ionic sentry, which slows down that gladiator. Those gladiators obviously will mess you up. We had another hypernova, which was unfortunate. And now we're out of Thunderlord ammo, which is fine. You don't need huge damage for this boss. I mean, back in the day you did. He used to be tanky, but not with power creep. But what you do need is something to allow you to add clear while on that plate. And rocket sidearms are great for that. Glaives are good for that. Even my fusion rifle would have been pretty good for that if I had particle on. So what we're going to do here, again, get a rift, and then we're going to pop our super and hopefully take out a ton of enemies, because these, basically once those incendiors are down, more ads are going to spawn in. So I was able to take out all the ads that were already in, and then use my super basically just to get some breathing room and kill a bunch of enemies. So now I have no heavy, I have no super, I'm getting low on some special, but it's fine because the hardest part is over. So now all you got to do, I also have slice on this, which is really nice. So now all those enemies are going to deal less damage to me. Unfortunately, those guys kind of jumped my pulse grenade. But yeah, because they were sliced, I knew I could stand in there. But then that other guy, he came dangerously close to meleeing me, and that would have been game over. We get a finish. We're getting some special back. So now what I'd like to do is farm some ammo, but I don't see much ammo on the field. But what's nice is, if you didn't know this, when you run out of ammo, the game actually just like gives you whatever's on the field. So basically, yeah, what I'm doing right now is just scanning for ammo, but later it actually picks some up that's just out there because I get so low on ammo. So what I want to do here actually is essentially wasting, because like we're not doing a lot of damage, but I just want to get rid of all my fusion rifle ammo right now while no enemies are around, because this does have a charge time, so you do have to be a little planted to use your fusion rifle. And then when I'm out of that, then we'll just go back to Indebted Kindness when the other enemies spawn in, and then I'll start doing like my volt shot stuff. So yeah, we're just putting in chip damage, literally just trying to expend all our ammo, waiting for these ads to spawn. You actually want ads with this build because that's how you make your ionic traces. So unfortunately, there I get amplified, but I don't think I was amplified or had bolt charge at the start of that super, so I wasn't doing max damage from that last column artifact perk. But yeah, now some enemies are spawning in, so rather than wanting to go run around and pick up ammo, I'm just expending ammo, and there, you could see I just got some special, and then in a little bit here, I think I even get some heavy that must have dropped after that first ammo refresh. So yeah, basically I'm just shooting like crazy, trying to plant myself with the rift, but there's just too many enemies up. So we just back up and retreat. And yeah, basically just trying to pick our spots. So this is like where it's the lowest. Now I can't reload, which is really unfortunate. So I can't proc Volt Shot. And then there is some heavy on the field. So I'm going to throw that out. And what I'd like to do is go run and get it. But yeah, you can see when I'm not getting traces, then I don't have all my grenades or my melee, and yeah, the build really slows down. So that just shows you like how valuable a Volt Shot is. And also just looking there, it looks like the purple blast from the boss don't linger on the ground anymore. So they actually made this a little easier, because that used to be extremely threatening and it would deal a ton of damage. But yeah, it doesn't look like once it passes you that it's there anymore. So I just noticed that. That's kind of cool. So we did another Chaos Reach to deal a ton of damage. We're amplified, so now when we're getting kills with Thunderlord, it's going to blind everything. And then we just go in with Thunderlord, and we're going to make Kargan fall over. So again, sub 19 minutes, pretty much the same time as my Crown of Tempest build. This build was a ton of fun. I was a little slower capping plates because you just had to be a little more careful, but still, super good build. Loved how many supers you can get. Ton of fun. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. So if you enjoyed it, a like would be greatly appreciated, and I'll talk to you later. Take care.